Greetings fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. You've seen the unboxing and you know that I just got Hellboy the board game from Mantic Games recently, and now it's time to start painting the miniatures, and there's quite a lot of them in there, about 120 of them. So in a series of videos I'm going to take you through the process as I paint them. I'm not going to go into great detail because if you look at the other videos on my channel you'll see more detail on how to paint miniatures in this sort of pretty fast kind of way. But I will take you through them step by step so you can see the order I go through and some of the techniques that I use. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get on to painting Hellboy. It's a daunting task, folks, but we're going to paint all of the miniatures in these trays, and it's not going to take too long. Let's power through them. You can see I've undercoated just the bats, the frog swarms, the werewolves and the wolves. I've done these first because they're very easy to paint and I can get them done really quickly, and I like to get the boring miniatures over and done with fast. You can also see that I've primed them different colours depending on the miniature. If they're going to be quite dark in the end, I undercoat them in black, and if I want to paint them lighter colours and use washes, which I usually do, I undercoat in white. Basically, the good thing about doing these simple miniatures first is that big chunks of the trays will be done quickly and easily, and that'll just give me the impetus to keep going because I get those boring ones out of the way first. So here am I at my painting station, and I'm going to get this batch of stuff done really quickly. We've got some black bats, so they just need a little bit of a slight grey highlight. We've got some frogs, so this will be a heavy dry brush of green and then a lighter green. The wolves, I'll be doing those in wolfy colours. And look, I've got the iPad here to show me what wolves look like. And the werewolves, I'll do something similar. While I'm doing those base colours, I'm just painting on little bits of textured paint. I've got astrogranite and astrogranite debris, and I'm painting those on so I get a little bit of texture on the bottom of the bases. Here are my very rough base colours. And as you can see, I've mixed in a bit of light and a bit of dark. I'm using a shabty bone and a bit of storm vermin fur and a bit of white, and just mixing a light and dark, a very rough wet blend there, and that just gives a bit of variety to my base colour. I've decided I should have actually undercoated these white because I've decided to paint it a light colour, so the underneath of the frogs will be light and then there'll be green on top. So there are my base colours. Now I'll do some washes. Okay, I put some washes on there. I'm using a mix of Agrax Earthshade and Seraphim Sepia, and I use that for the frogs and the wolves and the werewolves. The bats I'm just dry brushing up from black with a sort of browny grey mix. That's that. I'm going to let all that dry because washes take a little way to dry, and get started on 4 of the main characters of Hellboy. Might as well get started on those because when I play my first games I'll need these characters done. And in this case I'm using reference from the internet. These lovely painted jobs here I've got on the iPad, and I'll use those as a colour reference and just start blocking in the colours. Here are my hero figures with just the base colours. And you can see they're starting to look alright just with this, but I haven't done any washes yet. I've just coloured in the different shapes with the base colours. Very easy to do, following the reference that I've got. And the next thing I'm going to do when this is dry is give them some washes. There are my frogs done. That was very easy. Just a bit non-intuitive putting the light colour down first and then the green on top, but I think that makes them a little bit more realistic. They look like a little conglomeration of frogs rather than just a green mass. So that's my first bunch of figures done. And I've just mounted these so I can give them a spray varnish, and before I did that I gave it a very little bit of yellow dry brushing just to lift that green a little bit. And there are all my frog swarms done. Here are my main 4 characters after a wash, and you can see they're already looking pretty good, but a couple of layers of highlights will make them look even better and really make them pop. Here are the wolf and werewolf figures. Very simple dry brushing, a little bit of detail in the teeth and the tongue and the eyes, and they're pretty much done. A bit non-intuitive in that I dry brushed underneath instead of on the top, so they were darker on the top and lighter underneath, but that matches the natural colours of wolves a bit more, and they look pretty good. And here are my final 4 heroes. And I just did a bit of highlighting on these, Put a bit more effort into them because they were the main characters, but they didn't take too long. And they look great. Look at Hellboy. After a day's work, it's really good to put the figures back in the trays and see what progress you've made. So there we go, we've got all the wolves done, there's all the werewolves, all those bats are done, we've got all the frog counters over here, and we've got the 4 major characters from Hellboy done here, and don't they look good in those lovely black trays? So that's 29 figures, well if you count those figures, and it's a good start. Only 99 to go. Check back again on the next episode and we'll continue painting Hellboy. That's the Esoteric Order of Gamers, orderofgamers.com. See you then.